Knowing the current values for each batch of LEDs is very important. It can tell you how many LEDs of that particular batch you can add to your Arduino board without overpowering it. It can also tell you how a particular LED is going to affect a circuit that you're making, regardless of whether you get LEDs with specifications or not. It is best to check actual values. You never really know whether those specifications match what was produced. Getting actual values is easily done by making a small board and placing on that several resistors of different values. Then it is a matter of measuring the actual current for that batch of LEDs. In this video, I'll show you the simple board to use and how to use it. This is a permanent setup I have to measure the current through an LED with varying resistors, as well as measuring forward voltage. In this particular case, I just have a piece of prototype board. On it, I have currently 3 resistors. I have more room to add others, but I have a 1K, a 560, and 150 ohm resistor between 2 DuPont connectors here. Then I have the section here, which is these are all connected, permanent negative. So I go out to a negative connector. So when I want to measure the current through an LED, I insert the LED. Now, I have 3 LEDs here. I did not get specs with them. What I'm going to do is go through the process of checking the current through there. I'm not worried about forward voltage. I just want to get the maximum brightness without burning them out. So let's go on. This you make, it's very simple. Here, I'm not going to pull it off, but you can wire that up on a piece of perf board. No problem. I have another video on how to do that. You can go watch it. Let me break and set up here. What I've done now is I've set up my ammeter. It's on the side. I'm on microamps. With the microamp setting, I set it at 200. I've hooked to my power supply. I've clamped it in place so it doesn't move. I'm currently on 3.4 volts on my power supply, which is the lowest setting. Now what I'm going to do is touch each of the power in pins to the LEDs. That will record for me the amperage at the various resistance levels. Now, if I touch the first pin, I gotta really clamp it so I get a good reading. I get 8.6. I move to the next clamp, and I get 2.5. Let's go back here. That's 8.5, 2.5. I go to the final one, and I get 1.4. I record each of these. Now what I'm going to do is shift my power to 5.04 volts and record the numbers. I'm now on 5 volts, and I got 3.01. And I've got 5.3, and then 18.1. So at 5 volts with 150 ohms, I get 18.1 milliamps. 20 is normally about the maximum you want. If you run a board, you really don't want to have them very high because you burn out your board if they have many LEDs. Now, next thing I'll do is I'm going to go over to 12 volts. This will be 12.05 volts. And I get 9.9. And at 560 ohm resistor, I get 17.2. And I'm not going to measure the 150 ohm resistor because there's a good chance I'll burn out the LED. Now, this little board is very convenient. I know the exact numbers, and when you get I use Christmas lights. You pick up Christmas lights for peanuts. People give them away, and they're very, very good for lighting inside buildings or anything that display LEDs on power supplies or whatever. But you don't know any of the data on them. So you plug in your Christmas light LEDs and you have your numbers. You know what you're doing. So make one of these things. Very easy to make, very easy to use. I now have a chart for this particular batch of LEDs. I know what I can use, what resistors to use, when I'm going to use particular voltages.